Hey everybody. So today I thought I would just walk you through my witchy space, showing some of my altars, my workspace, and just what I have in my room. So the first one I'm going to show you, this is primarily for the guardian temples, or the guardians of the temple. When we talk Temple Crane, which I'm a part of, these are for guardians that work within that. They are not just guardians like an aspect of, they just hold space and protect. They're very, very heavy into magic work, adding energies and elements and helping direct and weave the magic. So we've got the dragon representation, the phoenix representation. It's got this little phoenix down here, as well as the fire aspect. Crane. These are from our local crane that drops feathers. And then the elephant. And so it just kind of has their representation in that format. And then we have their sigil format. And so it's just a cute little chunk of wood my husband gave me. And it has the phoenix and the elephant and the dragon and the crane. And then over here, this is, I had gotten the pentagram itself, and then I went through and I painted in the leaves and the colors just to spice it up. But if I am setting or creating a piece of jewelry for a certain reason, or an oil, something like that, I'll generally set it in the center. I'll light the candle for each of the guardians, and then one for myself or a guide, just depending on who I'm working with for that particular thing. So it's a working tool, but it's also just kind of one of those pretty reminders. I have a few jewelry pieces. Each one has a different meaning set to it. Like this one is for my coven, the Sisters of the Well. It's got this moon and a snake curling around it. We're all death workers, death emissaries. And so kind of incorporates and encompasses that kind of feel for me. But different jewelry pieces that are up here. And then each side has a candle holder, so that way I can light them and feed all the energies that are up here. And then here are just 3 little balls. They're different stones, and they represent earth and water and air for me. And then this is one of my servitors. He is very heavy in community type work. He's got a specific protecting goal that he does that deals when I'm dealing in sharing and community work and that kind of thing. A representation of the Mother of Souls, a representation of the Father of Soul or Father of Worlds. This is our house guardian. And so that kind of makes up this particular shrine space. It's not really an altar. I don't really do a lot of working up here. It's mainly their pieces. When I'm working, I take it and I go put it in my workspace. And then, as you can see, we have a really large sliding glass door that's here that brings in a lot of natural light, and I get to see the outside while I'm inside. Down below their altar is a little bookshelf that's got current books that I am using and working with. So I have the Walking in the Moon's Light and Walking in the Sun's Light. Both of these are workbooks for working with the sun time and moon time. So moon cycles, sun cycles. This here is my personal journal that I'm just writing thoughts and keeping records of my days and that kind of thing. This particular book is one that I am currently reading. Very animistic by nature. The Goddess book, because I'm always referring back to passages and places in it. It's got a lot of different words to help us go deeper and think deeper. And anyway, we'll get into my books at another time. The Indian Herbology of North America. I live in North America, so this is talking about particular plants, recipes, and things of that nature that are in my area for herbal healing. I also have this book, which is new and I'm still going through, The Medical Herbalism. I will be doing a review on this because I'm really excited about this book. And then a couple of just other notebooks that I have. So the next space, we'll start up here. So at the top above my altar, you can see a sun and moon tapestries. This is, I am a death worker. I am a death emissary. I deal in dualities. I deal in the light and the dark. I deal in the sun and the moon. It's really kind of that representation of that aspects of two sides of one pattern working together, the duality. This is my personal shield for my practice. Crane practitioners will know about this, and those that are in the Crane practitioner group, I've written about this. This is just a culmination of my shield in my practice. So I have some of my primary deities written on the outside of each of the quadrants. It's split up like the master pattern in Crane practice. In the center is the well and where the gods dwell. That's that symbol. That's my symbol up there. That is another symbol that is, the going in and out, that swirling in, swirling out, movement in and out of anything that we do. I'll get into that another time. And then on the outside, it's almost like bones, but they're all intertwined and wrapped together, kind of encompassing the whole entire shield and weaving in all the parts together. Over here is my area of herbs, basically. It's got some herbs. It's got, I was gifted these. It's a bunch of different small chips of different crystals. I've got some herb blends that I make for myself for workings. I've got my primary oils that I'm currently using that I've made and created myself. And I've got my ancestors. So these are specific sets of ancestors in these poppets. These are my Ozark women, and this is Alice. These are the primary ones that I work with when dealing with herbs, whether it's kitchen magic, whether it is creating oils or blends, very much in my magical side. So they help in spell work and things of that nature. Down here, inside, it's got a little drop down door, and then I have just a bunch of herbs and stuff in there, and then there's a drawer down below it, which I have even more herbs and some crystals. This candle here is an infinity candle that I just received and have been working with, trying to see if I could scry with it. So it's my experiment at the moment, and I will show everybody that at a different time. This is a picture of a raven in a very naturey kind of a setting. For me, it's a reminder of the warrior and healer together. My ravens here on our property really make me think about battle, war, these kinds of things. And it will not... There we go. They have very, very militaristic style to them. And so it really makes me think of my death side. It makes me think of my warrior side. And then the nature around it is, that healer, that, it's for purpose, it's for growth, it's for movement. These shelves here are just kind of hodgepodge sticking things places. I need to get back there and do something with those. I've got my mortar and pestle. This particular incense burner here is where I burn frankincense. That's my masculine side. And when I say feminine and masculine side, again, talking death worker aspect, crane practice, we're not talking gender. We're talking the feminine side, the goddess, the why. For me, it's a why and a how. And it's an internal and external. So the feminine side deals in soul and focused on soul and the why behind things. The masculine side is very much body. It's our outward, how we move and change in the world. And that is very much how for me. So I get into that a lot more in different places, but it's just one of those things. This is my abundance treasure box. This is something new. I moved away from doing like money bowls and that kind of thing. And I got this idea. My coven and I were working on something and I was like, oh, I got a box. I'm going to change it into an abundance box. So it's not just about money. It's not just about wealth. That it is really incorporating my entirety of abundance. And so back here, again, I wood burned in the Temple Guardians sigil. And that is so they can help weave anything that goes into the box, weave that magic, bring in their pieces. Over here and down here are the two seals of Ushar, one dealing with wealth and abundance from a money perspective and material perspective, and one dealing from a life perspective. So, all those abundant aspects of life and joy and love and happiness. And then I have my two little bees that I painted in there because bees, they're a thing this year. I'm still working through them and seeing what all it brings. But they're heavy in abundance and heavy in community aspects and work. I put my money bowl into here, and that's just kind of where it's hanging for right now. And I moved one of my little lucky leprechauns into it. And then over here, I've got my main guy. I work a lot with Nissi. You'll see that a lot, and you'll definitely see it when we move over to the nature altar. But this is my little luck Nissi and leprechaun-y kind of look to him. But, he's got a bunch of different coins and stuff. And these I recently got because it's the year of the snake in China. Again, not my thing, but in their thing, I am the snake. So it's one of those interesting things. And there was this set of coins. And so I was just like, yeah, okay, we'll go there. So with some of the things to understand is I'm part of the Amazon Vine program. So I get gifted a lot of different things to review. That just happened to be one of them. Down here are a set of candles. So instead of on birthdays, instead of doing blowing out your candle on your birthday cake and making a wish that way, we light candles. We do floating candles and we light them with our wish and our intention. We wait until they burn out. And then because I started the box, I was like, oh, this is a perfect place to keep them. And their wishes will stay in there until next year. And then when the birthdays roll around again, we'll take them out and put in new birthday candles. That's just another little prosperity bag. And then there's currently something in there working. So I have my two malas that I hang with it. This is my death spirit mala. This is my living working mala. So physical world stuff. And then this is my crane bag. I will go deeper into my crane bag and my own personal sacred book in a different video. But my crane bag holds all of my divination tools and magical workings for the most part. not like spell work and stuff, but components. And then my sacred book, like I said, we'll get into that. And then I have the Grimoire of the Crane, because I am currently reading that, and you'll be seeing some videos of different chapters of that coming out. And then my junk notebook underneath. This is my big workspace. This is where I do all my work stuff, is here. So in this big center space. This is just one of the pieces that I really love. It's Irish Blessings. And it holds the pendulum that I use for my living deities and living allies, the more physical world aspects. And then over here, I've got this cave-like rock that we found here on the property. And so I put my key over here. This is my pendulum for my death and spirit work. Currently, I have a spell going on right here. I am not a really huge crystal person. I never have been. But recently, I've been playing with it. And I, again, got some stuff. And I was like, okay, well, let's play with this. I added more crystals to it of different kinds. And when we get into the book, I'll maybe just talk about this as a separate. But I have different crystals, the different things that I want to imbue into myself, into my work, into my movement, into my practices, into my life. And then currently it's being fueled by this candle. When it's done, I think I'm going to put it into my bowl. Okay, so talking up here. This that's on the box is my self altar. It has pieces that are very specific to me and representations of me and things that I need to hold. And so the skull is very representation of my death emissary side, my death side. The aspect of the living and the dead, very representative of hell, which is my keeper. This is a baby turkey vulture skull. Every bone that you see me use is one that we procured here on the property. It's something that we have found here. This was in the ravine back in behind our barn. They generally don't nest there. I think this baby came maybe unexpectedly or bad place. We also get coyotes and stuff back there. So something happened, and we found a whole entire turkey vulture baby, and I was able to take the bones and clean them and use them in this way. So this is my little turkey vulture skull, very much my healing side. If you know much about turkey vultures, you'll understand. But turkey vultures, they're kind of like the cleaners. They ingest all the dead and the dying and getting rid of all the bacteria and everything. But what they expel is like some of the most potent antibacterial that you could use. Not that I would, but it's there. And so they're expelling all this healing. So from a healing perspective, taking in all the nasty and infection and grossness, and then expelling out something that's pure and healing and movement forward, very much that representation for me. This little jar here is an oil that we created in our Feast of Life festival that we do for spring equinox within the Temple of the Crane. And so one of the sisters led us into creating this self oil, self-empowerment and aspects. This is a little opal, and on the other side, I have a little hagstone that's in the shape of this spiral. These are just, again, some different representations of me. The citrine there is something that we're going to be using this month in April in my coven. One of my coven mates is running April, and I'm not sure what we're doing with that yet, but I'm excited to find out. This is the bowl and knife. This bowl and knife are representations from hell and the story she told me about them. And basically, in a nutshell, the bowl is a representation of what we are feeding ourselves. You know, whether it's famine and we're leaving it empty, or we're filling it with good things, or we're filling it with mixed things, or we're filling it with poison, all about the choices of what we're filling our bowl with. Thus, what we're filling our energy with, what we're filling our life with, what we're filling our body with. The knife is, you know, are we defending or are we attacking? Are we using it for our needs and the purposes that are positive to us, you know, cutting strings when we need to cut strings and all of those things, or are we using it to create destruction and, you know, for more negative purposes? The bowl and the knife together are very symbolic for me and very much part of my considerations, whether I'm, you know, considering an action, whether I'm considering a spell, and then just regular day-to-day, you know, reflection and meditation. I'm thinking about the bowl and knife, their aspects, their movements. And I will put a link below in an article that I specifically wrote on the bowl and knife, going into more detail for anybody that's interested. On each side is 2 gargoyles. Again, these are servitors. These are 2 of my primary servitors when it comes to work. So one that's working from a spirit unseen aspect, and then one that works from physical world, and I'm not going into details. This is a statue that I had gotten and changed and painted and purposed as myself. So this is my self-representation on my altar. And it has some core aspects. So the staff in Death Emissary work, in the course that I teach, one of the things we do is create this staff, which becomes part of our spirit work and what we're doing. And there are certain things that are imbued into the staff and creation. And I will show the staff towards the end so you can see what mine looks like right now. The black snake is very much what's going out. So it's like my outer self. It is the actions outward. Again, for me, very masculine side, the outer world. The white is spirit, it's soul. It is the unseen. Over here, now we're getting into the deities. Current deities I work with and representations of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. The most of them, some have statues, some have just representations of them. So the Morrigan has got the raven. Aramid has got this jar of herbs. The Fates, very much center here. Flittish is back there. Kari's over there. Breed's over there. I guess I am going through all of them. This is my personal pantheon. It's not a pantheon, like it's not a Greek pantheon. It's not Roman. It's not Norse. It's a mixture. But this is my personal pantheon. These are the deities that I consistently work with and that consistently are giving me guidance and movement. Of course, like I said before, Hela's over here. And I have, you know, others that pop in and out that I work with. But, you know, these are just the primaries, the main ones that I work with and that have center pieces in my craft for me. This here is a little opalite egg. And one of the first pieces I bought from a tool aspect, and I can't get the light right. Okay, you can kind of see it. See that little black line? Kind of goes all the way around. It looks like a snake inside the opalite egg when I get the lighting right. Which again really matches with my craft, death work, thinking of the snake, transformation, movement, but also it's very connected of a soul representation for me. But I love using this in different meditative works and stuff. It's great. This is just a little skull, again, you know, representing death and my ancestors in the past. It's got a neat feature when you put it under a certain light. It has this glow like it's on fire. Can't remember what the stone is called. Up here is my ancestor tree. So this isn't my specific ancestors like the puppets. You know, the puppets are specific ones that are doing specific work. This is just my ancestors overall. You know, all the people that came before me that, you know, are the reason why I'm here. That kind of honoring, and then just ancestors in general. This is just a new piece. Again, vine. But I do keep my resurrection plant, one of my resurrection plants in it, kind of thinking from the growing aspect of all the things on my altar, myself, very self-centered, not in that way. But anyway, she is currently on her closing stage. So she's drying out. And then in a week or two, I will give her some water and she'll flourish back up. I do her in cycles, back and forth, back and forth. I give her water, I let her bloom out, and then I let her close back up and dry out, and then we start the process again. One of my coven mates gave me this beautiful circle candle holder, and for me, it makes me think about my community, especially the temple and then the sisters. And then I have 2 earrings that are very much set for community kind of work and temple sisters area. Back here is my water fountain that just stays on my working space all the time, my altar. And it's that reminder of that flow, the flow and constant change of water. Water has a very big place in my practice because, again, voice, vibration. If you haven't witnessed or studied any of the Dr. Emoto studies, highly, highly suggest you go on YouTube and look up Dr. Emoto. Watch what it says about voice and vibration and water. Eye-opening. And it's been a part of me for decades now. But again, it's that having that representation, having that movement and flow is important to me. And so I really love the fountain. It hasn't been spinning lately, which is kind of strange. And if you've been around for any length of time, you know that I've talked about it numerous times, how my deities talk through the lights on my porch. So I have a string of LED lights and they shut themselves off and turn themselves back on. They change, you know, colors, not completely, but, you know, certain ones will go different colors. It's messages and signs. It always has been. It's just really weird, but it's a thing, and they've been really consistent through it. Now they've been using the light that's on here for like the last week or two, couple of weeks, something like that. The light isn't spinning and changing like it's supposed to. It just changes dependent on where I'm at and what I'm working on. You know, they give me a message, I take care of the message, they change the color. They give me a message, I ignore the message, it stays until I do something. So, yeah, I don't know what's up with them and colored lights, but this is a thing and easy to communicate, I guess probably because it catches my attention. All right, over here, this is all my spirit area. This is not for me. This space here, I created and put together. So all the visiting spirits, the people that want to just come, hang out, that kind of thing, can do so. This is their space. Now, I do have a servitor that monitors who gets to come in and that kind of thing. And, but if you can get past him, you can come in and you can hang out. This is just for them. Like I said, I don't do any work over here. It's nothing. I clean, I make sure all their stuff is set up nice and all that, but this is their space to just come and hang. Kind of like that mirror over there is theirs. It's their window. I set that mirror specifically so any of them can pop in. They can show what they want in the mirror. They can hang out in the mirror. They can look through the mirror. They can't come through the mirror, but they can use it like a window. And then down here, just some added stuff. And of course, you'll see my really, really dirty, right there, cauldron. And I'll be honest, I let it go up until the point of I'm making some black salt, or I need to empty it, and I make some black salt with its ashes. And then, my husband comes along and he gets all the rust out and refashions it back up and seals it back up, and then it goes back to this state and we start the process all over again. Poor man. Again, I am a death worker. I work with spirits a lot. So having a space that's just for them to come, hang out, do their thing, just spend some time. That's why I have that space. If you are not that type of person, if you do not have a specific servitor that acts as a gatekeeper and stuff, you might not want to have like an open kind of space like these in the mirror. Spirits, they're not all great. Back here this is new. So this altar is my nature altar. And I don't know, I just got an urge that I wanted to put together some type of seasonally feeling nature altar. Will it go through all seasons? Who knows? Maybe it's just for the spring. Again, all the bones and stuff, they're sourced off our property. This is a female deer skull. And then on this side, my husband found this one. It's a male deer skull. And it's only like half of it. It's like missing the other half. But I thought that was really cool. And especially since I kind of deal in that duality from the perspective of the why and the how, the masculine, feminine, divine. Not from a Wiccan way, but from the why and the how and the two aspects. It just was really fitting for this. Up here, all of these little clay guys that are in color, those are my planets. So each one is a representation of a planet. I use them when working with planetary energy and doing planetary works. It's my little owl guy. He's probably going to be there no matter what season we're planning for. He's an opalite owl. Very, very beautiful. Owls have a lot of significance, both from in my life, in our valley, and then also to myself. I just love them. Got a little green candle over there. A backflow incense burner that's got just flowers and two hands. Just very nice. This is another resurrection plant. This one stays in that heart container. Then we've got Gaia, Earth, and then some Nissi. You will see some Nissi hanging around. I work a lot with Nissi. I've worked with Nissi for a really long time. Really great relationship. I love them. I love the Nissi. My Nissi are fantastic. And so I wanted some different incorporations there. The woman statue you see behind you, I painted, she came in silver. I painted the gold onto her, and she is the representation of my moon and my sun. So moon for me is very internal. It's very self. It's our self-transformations, our self-movements. And the sun is very external. It's how we move in the world. It's the actions we're making that, are outside of us. And that's kind of how I see the sun and the moon cycles. So sun cycle marks social and community and world time. and transformations, and the moon marks self and inner transformations. So having that representation is cool. I've got a little beehive. That's a little candle area, but it's a little beehive. It's another really cool rock from our property. Just felt right. And then a little crystal tree thing that I got. And I just thought all the colors were really pretty and it would be great in there. So yeah, that's my little naturey seasonal altar thing going on. And then my spirits. So they can come and just chillax. My big working space with all of its stuff on it. My poor little corner shelf hodgepodge crazy. And then the guardians and a couple of my servitors up there in that space. So yeah, I think I went through everything. I hope you enjoyed it. Getting to see a little bit about, what I work with, who I work with, what my setup looks like, and what are the different little spaces that I have in it. What's yours look like? Share it. Share pictures, share videos. If you've got videos, then share links. I'd love to see what everybody's doing and what they're creating. For me, these spaces are always very personal. There's no one way to set one up. There's no one way of creating something, because we're all different paths. We're all doing different things and we have different connections and different movement. So yeah, have a great one.